I'd like to discuss free speech at university and the doctrine of double effect. I'll present the principle or the doctrine and then I'll unpack it. Sincere, respectful, constructive, critical discussion of a confronting issue within a university, discussion that may have the foreseen but unintended effect of making participants feel uncomfortable, offended, distressed, or angry, is justified if the intended effect is the sincere, respectful, constructive, critical pursuit of understanding, knowledge, and/or wisdom. So there are a couple of things that are worth highlighting. First, the distinction between foreseen but unintended effects and intended effects. That's why this is called the doctrine of double effect. There are two effects in play, one intended, the other foreseen but unintended. I'm applying the doctrine of double effect to discussions at university, but it's also applied in the context of medical care. Some people at the end of their life are given painkillers. The painkillers are given, they're intended to reduce pain. But a foreseen but unintended effect is the hastening of death. In the medical context, the provision of painkillers is justified if the intended effect is reducing suffering, even if there's a foreseen but unintended effect of hastening death. And that's an established principle in medical care. I invite you to think of applying that principle in the case of discussions at university. There may be foreseen but unintended effects of critical discussion at university, but these are importantly distinguished from the intended effect of such discussions. Furthermore, note that it's a particular type of discussion that I have in mind, namely sincere, respectful, constructive, critical discussion. Now that's an incredibly valuable activity to undertake. And indeed, that's why universities are valuable institutions for our civilization, because they are places where you can have such important discussions. The purpose of those discussions is pursuit of understanding, knowledge, and/or wisdom. But also note that it must be sincere, respectful, constructive, critical pursuit of understanding, knowledge, or wisdom. These are not frivolous discussions. These are serious discussions in pursuit of understanding, knowledge, or wisdom. And that's the intended effect of such discussions. But a foreseeable but unintended effect is perhaps causing people to be distressed, even angry. But I hold that such discussions are justified if the intended effect is sincere, respectful, constructive, critical pursuit of understanding, knowledge, or wisdom. So, I offer you the doctrine of double effect as a justification for such discussions at university. Importantly, a justification for such discussions is distinct from the question of whether such discussions are supported or permitted or encouraged by the policies and culture of a university. I encourage you to encourage the universities of your country to embrace the doctrine of double effect. And I encourage you to encourage your universities to enshrine in policy and encourage in culture this type of free speech.